There it goes. Brandy will be checking out the chat, the Q&A, and otherwise watching things. So if you have any questions or issues or things like that, Brandy will be on the side to help. By way of introduction, my name is Ryan Airforth. I am the Arizona Memory Project Administrator, and I'm also the map librarian here at the State of Arizona Research Library. So I'm going to talk about, for today's Amplify Your Research session, all about how to find maps in the Arizona Memory Project and what those limitations might be, because we also have a lot more maps that are in physical form that are not a memory project, work in progress, but we'll go over all that stuff. So let's get started. For anyone who's brand new here, one thing, Brandy will also share the link to today's slides in the chat, so you can download that whenever you'd like to follow along, read up on it later. So the slides will be available to you now. So don't worry about missing out on something or not catching something. So yeah, okay, starting over. For the Memory Project, if you're brand new here, what is it? So basically, the Arizona Memory Project is a free, publicly accessible online platform for local institutions and members of the public to contribute content that helps researchers discover information related to the history, government, and statecraft of Arizona. So if it's Arizona related and it's been able to be digitized, and we have digitized it, by and large, we have it on the Memory Project. So that includes not only in-house projects, our own materials here at the State of Arizona Research Library, but also the state archives. We work with and other local institutions like the Hurd Museum, Lowell Observatory, Arizona Historical Society. We've got about 100 different partners or local institutions that have contributed content. So that's what the Memory Project is here. That's what it's for. And what I'm showing you right now is the homepage of the Memory Project. So you can see the URL is just memory.azlibrary.gov, and that you can either bookmark that, you can find the link in the slide as well. So and just to so you know a little bit more about how it works as well, it's free for all users. There's no paywalls or anything like that. As long as you have internet access, then you have access to the Memory Project. And one more thing I want to point out, is just so you know, you have the option. It is not mandatory. You can still see the site just fine without it. But if you'd like to, you can create a user account or a member account. So I'm logged in as me already. If you're not logged in, it'll say welcome guest and log in. So you just click on those and it'll give you an opportunity to register an account. That's just a username of your choice and whatever email you'd like it to be. And the main benefit of doing that is that you will be able to bookmark content, and I'll show you once we get to an item level item how you can do that. But everything that you bookmark will show up here in the My Collection. And then you can see here's the stuff that I've bookmarked for myself. And so you can create collections over here. So if you have a research project of some kind, you can assign individual items that you've bookmarked and assign it to a collection. And then it keeps everything nice and organized for you. Again, that's optional, but it does create some quality of life enhancements for using the site. And the slides have more detailed instructions on how to create an account. So with that, let's jump into how to find maps. So let's do that. I'm going to, actually, you know what? I was better off where it was. There we go. All right, so this is formatted as collection. It is a collection of map collections. So whatever maps are on the Arizona Memory Project that are collections of maps, they've been assigned here. So again, if you want, that's the URL for it. And anything that's bookmarkable will have this star next to it over here, the toolbar. So you just do add to my collection, sends it over to your collection section, and then you can further organize there if you'd like. So all of these are basically, this is a place where you can look for all the map collections. And so basically, if you open up on any one of these, and there it goes. Here's where you can get to see the individual items. So these are still formatted as collection, but the specific collection is the Arizona State Archives historic maps. And you can see what they have here. And if you want to go back, you can always see what other maps are available. We've got railroad maps, Robert Lennon, Charlotte Hall, Maricopa County land ownership maps. And this is a project that I'm personally working on right now, historic maps of Arizona. But before we dive too deep into those specifics, I'll show you some tricks for some basic tools and also some tricks for how to actually find these things. So if you're just browsing and you're not looking for anything in particular, what you can do is just go to the browse all icon over here. By default, this is just going to give you everything in the site, and it's sorted alphabetically. Parent or quotes get sorted first. But if you know that all you really care about is maps, go over to the filter by format, go to show more, because this is also listed alphabetically, and then just click map. And you can see that, okay, good, there are 2,912 maps available. And this is across the entire site. It doesn't matter what collection is, what it's in, or where it is on the site. It bundles everything together. So you know that across the entire Arizona Memory Project, there are 2,912 maps. You can also further browse this way. These are all metadata fields that we have in our template for maps. And so it'll be things like creator, city or town, the geographic features, tribal homelands, roads, counties, etc. So if you know that you're looking for a specific place that is formatted as a map, you can further do that by clicking the little arrow to the right. And then that will also auto-populate for you alphabetically. So if you knew that you're looking for maps of Phoenix, you'd have to scroll for a bit, but you can keep going. Find it. There we go. 68 maps of Phoenix. And there they are. So that way you don't have to, if you know what you're looking for and you know you want Phoenix maps or Navajo Nation maps, you can just use browse and you don't even have to use the search at all if you don't want to. And then from here, you can do things like you can download them. Some of these you're able to download, some you can only get the metadata. It kind of depends on how the contributing institution set it up. You can use this to check all of them if you'd like. You do have to do it for every page. So if you want all the maps on page 2 to be bookmarked, you'd have to go to page 2 and then check those all again. But you can toggle them too. You can choose, up to 2 or 3, add to my collections, share them out. If you want to compare the metadata to 3, like what's the difference between this one and this one, they look similar, you can do that. So those are some other tools that are not map specific, but any results page that you get at will have these options for you. So yeah, and then if you didn't want Phoenix anymore, you can just untoggle it, go back to where you were, and then you can pick someplace else. So every, I'm going to get back up to the top here, every metadata field that we've incorporated here that has a right arrow over here will expand for you and show you exactly how many maps are available for each of the entries. But if you do want to do a search, there's a basic search. So you can just type in, say, canals, and then hit enter or go over here, do your search. And it's probably going to wind up, depending on how vague you are, it's going to, by default, it searches all item types. So I'm just showing you what will happen if you just do a basic search. But because we're here and we care about maps, one of two ways. If you do a basic search and you forgot to filter by map from the beginning, and I'll show you how you can do that, then you can still go over here and use the same format, except this time you've done a search, and so the numbers are just going to be smaller because the search only returns results that it thinks are relevant based off of your keyword search terms. So now this time, okay, so instead of getting 2,913 maps because you're just browsing, now you've got 38 maps that match your search for canals. And there they are. And then, of course, click on any one of them, add your bookmarks, that kind of stuff. So that's how you would do a basic search just for maps. You can also do an advanced search. So you can either go back to search over here to reset, or you can go over here and reset your search terms. So this time, I'm going to do irrigation canals. So if you know you want maps, you can uncheck all of these because by default, it's going to look for every item type, but you only care about maps. Within data, title only means the metadata field, which is title. It's only going to search a map that has irrigation or canals in the title itself, no place else. All fields means any metadata field, and the metadata template from maps has something probably like 40 fields or something like that. So it's going to search all of them And then all fields plus content. The plus content means OCR or other text searchable items. A lot of the maps have writing on it, text, writing, copy. So that'll search that as well. So that's anything that's been OCR'd plus all the metadata fields. You can choose a date range if you want. You do need to put in 2 full dates according to the month, day, year format. So if you just wanted it to be January 1st, 1880 to December 31st, 1950, you can do that. And for keywords or the search for, you can tell it how specific you want it to be. So if you want just all keywords, it'll search for irrigation and canals. It'll search for both of those words. If you choose any keywords, it'll function more like an or, irrigation or canals, but not necessarily together. And the exact phrase match is going to be looking specifically for this string of text, irrigation canals. So it depends on how specific you want it to be. So running that kind of search with a map, you want to search all the fields within this date range, the exact phrase match. There's the 3. So now you've gone from 2,913 to 38 using a basic search to 3 using specific search. And if you wanted to be, you can always go back, restart it. It doesn't save your search term, so I really just like to copy paste it so I don't type that all again. But yeah, you can tinker around with this if you think 3 is like, I'm looking for a little bit more than that, or I hope I didn't miss something. Leave the date alone, tell it to search the content as well, and then just do all keywords. Yeah, and you'll get a few more. So that's, just kind of play around with those tools, see which one ends up, getting the search results that you want. And so it's free to experiment, and the nice thing, while you're in a session, even if you're not logged in, I believe, it'll track your viewing history for your current session. So if you forgot how you did a certain search, or there were certain search results that you got that you went away from that tab and you're wondering how I got back there, like, how did I get those results again? As long as your current session is open, so if you close your tab or your browser, it'll go away. But as long as your session is open, it'll remember all these searches for you. So it's like, oh, okay, cool. It's telling you that you searched for irrigation canals. You didn't give it a date, right? And these are the parameters you told it. So, okay, cool. You can just click on that. Yeah, there's your 9 search results again. And you can go back as far, you can go back to the very earliest search that you did in the whole session. Okay, so that's that. So let's click on one of these things. So let's say this is the one that you want. So what we've gone over is how to sort of find maps, how to look for them. Now we'll talk a little bit about what you can do with them when you find them. So if you want to download the map, come over here, go to download. If it is able to be downloaded, you'll see over here, download a webmaster. So it's going to give you basically a copy of the file. This happens to be a JPEG. So if you want that, just click on that. It'll automatically download it. If a map is not able to be downloaded, either by partner preference, or if there's any sort of restrictions on download where, we're able to put it online for access, but the viewing institution didn't want it to be downloaded. They just wanted you to be able to see it, but have a copy. This part right here will not be there. It'll just be blank. It just won't be there at all. And it'll just say download metadata record as. You can always download the metadata, which is all this stuff all over on the side. But you won't be able to download a copy of it. And so you'll know that downloading has been disabled because this just won't be here. And you can download it if this is here. So that's how you would know if you're able to download it. For permissions and citations, come along over here to the side. This is where all the metadata is, and it scrolls independently, so you can go all the way to the bottom and not scroll away from the actual item. About midway through, you'll see the right statement. Now, this particular one is from 1922, which means it's in the public domain automatically because of its age. So it'll tell you no copyright in the United States, so you're free to use this however you'd like. Other right statements will say it's in copyright, but it's only you can only use it for educational use. It's in copyright. You're not able to you can't download it because it's copyright protected. Copyright is held by the creating agency. You need to go reach out to them, stuff like that. So just come over here, look for it, see what it says. And you'll also always be able to tell, I'm going to open a new tab so I don't lose my place here, but you'll always be able to sort of have like a breadcrumb of where it came from. First, by contributing institution over here. You can also see if you go to the collection it came from, there's the collection, there's where it came from. Here's how you contact us. So every contributing institution has a landing page like this. It's formatted as a contributor, and they'll all have contact information over here. So if you look at the metadata and you find out who contributed the map, you can come over here and basically, look at the contact information and to get in touch with them and ask, hey, I found this map. You can also ask us too. You're able to come over here, contact us about this item. It autofill to me. However, you're logged in as you with autofill here. If you're not logged in, I think it just ends up being blank or something. But yeah, so type whatever you want. It sends it to us, and it also gives us the link to this map. So that way, when you send your message and say, "Hey, what's the copyright on this?" It's not clear. We can help. So yeah, and this also enables you to just email us directly. So, any questions about that? And if you want to cite the item because you're using it either in like a book or a blog post or anything else, just click that quotation mark and it'll create and it'll auto-populate a citation for you. And then you can just copy and paste that. One quick note, just because downloading has been enabled doesn't mean you can use the map however you'd like. Always check the right statement and just double check. Because some institutions, they have allowed downloading, but the item is still under copyright protection. We would have permission from the partner to have it on the memory project, but that doesn't necessarily extend to users of the memory project to use the map in whatever way they like. So if you're able to download it, still always check over here for the right statement. Make sure you're in the clear for how you'd like to use it. And again, we can help with that. Okay, so a couple other places, a couple other methods to finding maps. You can also find maps from, technically they're called information types, but they're basically landing pages that act as hubs of information. So I'm going to search for one of those. So I happen to know how to find this quickly. So I'm going to jump in there. Cool. Grand Canyon National Park as a place. So you can see this is formatted as a place. Other ones include agency, event, and person. But you can see that here's Grant. So these pages, place pages like this, function as a hub for all item types, regardless of what they are. So it could be maps, documents, oral histories, images, audio files, things like that. Regardless of what format it's in, they're all related to the Grand Canyon National Park. So the Grand Canyon National Park is its own place page where everything is assembled that's related to it. But that includes maps. So you can come over here. You'll find that there are 24 maps of the Grand Canyon that we have on the site. So if you know that all you really care about is Grand Canyon maps, and you happen to be on the Grand Canyon page, you can just go that route, find the Grand Canyon page, scroll down to maps, and then here they all are. And then, yep, you can do, click on them, do whatever you want with them. And the same way you could do it is if you were browsing, you could also come to map, open the caret, go to geographic feature, scroll down to the Grand Canyon. That'll get you to the same place. But so just want you to be aware of the multiple ways that you can sort of get to the same information. In this case, the same. One other thing for searching, I'm going to go this way. Okay, so here's our historic maps of Arizona. These are the maps that we're digitizing in-house. We also have a custom search box. So it doesn't have advanced search functionality. It's just basic search, but that box is there to search only the historic maps of Arizona. So if you wanted to do Grand Canyon again, So search this collection only. There you go. There's your Grand Canyon maps. So this mostly searches the metadata and the titles. It may search the OCR as well, but you just don't have that kind of granularity and specifics. If you wanted to sort of get back at that, as far as, I wanted to only search this date range, those kinds of things, you can still do that over here. You can, it's the same as if you were running a search from the beginning. So you still always have those options to follow up and tell it, okay, I want these additional filters after you've run a search. So that's an option. So if you ever see that kind of a page or that kind of a search box on any page, just know that, yeah, that'll give you basic search functionality, and it's only searching the collection you're currently looking at. So that's one way to look at it. And another one that, another way to sort of find things, and this is a work in progress, I've just started adding these, is the map type field. So hopefully I filled this one out. Oh, okay. So map type. So again, I've only done a handful of these, but stay tuned to see if there's more. Go ahead and scroll down to the map type, and you'll see if it's filled out, it hyperlinks, and so this will take you to where all the election maps are. Other ones are going to be things like road maps, school maps, mining maps, things like that. So I need to go back through and add that metadata to a lot of these. So keep an eye out for that. But if you do see map type filled out, then you know that you can click that, and that will link to all of the items. Again, regardless of collection, it doesn't matter where it is in the site. They've all been linked by virtue of being an election map, and so all of those will show up here. So that's less a date filter or a collection filter, and it's really functions as a subject or theme filter. So if you know that you want a certain type of map, then that will be filled out, and that's an easy way to get at those things. So again, there's not a whole lot of these finished right now. My first step was getting the maps in the memory project in the first place, and then from there, I'll be adding that stuff. So it's going to get better. And just to let you know, there are a couple. We have a couple of timelines. Timeline is an item type that's not specific to maps, but the two that we have up right now happen to be maps or map focused. So again, you can bookmark these as you'd like, if you'd like to. One of them is about the change in counties, and so you can see that. I'll just jump in here so you can see what it looks like. In 1864, when it became a territory, it had 4 original counties. And then basically just goes through the years as counties were. There's only been one time where a county was taken away. We had Paiute County for about 5 years, and then it went away. But other than that, this is the timeline of how Arizona got new counties. So you can see not only when they were added, I have links to the session laws where the Arizona territorial legislature, with the exception of La Paz, because that was 1983, had basically enacted the new county, and they mentioned where the county seat is going to be and things like that. So you can sort of scroll through here, see how everything when a new county was added and how the addition sort of changed the borders of other counties within the state. Okay, so that's kind of the main thing. Let me see if I can make this show up. Hopefully people can see PowerPoint now, or the slides. So we do have, this is going to be the last Amplify Your Research session of 2023. This is the first year we've done it. We came up with subjects that we thought people would like the most. We are planning on doing more for 2024, so new sessions and dates will be announced soon. If you have a request, or if there's a specific kind of research focus you'd like, it's like, hey, I really like, how do I work with city directories, or how do I work with certain things? I'm having trouble doing this, or I really would like to get better at learning this. Let us know. Brandy will send out a link to a survey where you can not only tell us how we did on this particular session, but also there should be space in there, I think, to let us know if there are any other topics for 2024 you'd like us to see too. This is how you can get in touch with us. If you have a broader question that's not related specifically to what we just went over, you can also go to easysos.libanswers.com/form, and then you can answer a general research question, and it may not be Brandy or me handling it, but someone will. Someone on our staff will look at that question. So I will stop sharing. And if anybody has any questions, feel free to unmute, throw it in the chat, let us know. Anything you'd like to know?
Hey, Ryan, can you share with everybody how they might find a map that we have in physical form, but maybe it cannot be digitized at this time?
Yeah, what I'm thinking of doing, there's a couple places. It's in there's the catalog. We can throw out a link to that. It's also, if you go to that, well, I'm trying to think of the best way to do this.
It's on the AMP homepage.
Yeah, it is on the AMP homepage. Yeah, that's right. Let me share my screen again. Yeah, so if you go to the homepage and you scroll down, you can get to our catalog. There you go. And then you can search for whatever you want. So just say it's Grand Canyon, just because it's generic and there should ought to be something. There we go. And then you can filter over here and say like, oh, okay, it's in the map collection or item location. It's in maps. Sometimes these numbers are different. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's online, but there's a lot of stuff that's not. So it could be, let me see if there's, yeah, so here's an example of one that, here's a map that we've got of the Grand Canyon, but it is not online because it does not have the view on the Arizona Memory Project. So, so that's a way of finding stuff out. I'm also planning on creating metadata only records in the memory project. So it would show up as an entry, like you'd be able to click on something, but it just wouldn't have the asset there. So it wouldn't have a map, for example, but at least it would tell you that we have it, because I have an inventory of every map we actually have. So yeah, I'm trying to sort of come up with an efficient way to sort of let people know in the memory project, hey, you know, we do have more maps that have not yet been digitized. Some of it is for copyright reasons. It just can't be digitized and put online. I'm working on reaching out to some copyright holders on some things to get more, as much as possible up. But some stuff is just never going to be online for those reasons, or not in our lifetime kind of thing. So the idea would be, yeah, hey, contact us if you'd like to, you know, see a copy or something, then we can look for another copy. That might be, we'll figure out a way to get it to you basically where you can see it. So yeah. Other questions? Do you have landowner maps or plat maps? We do. So the one I was thinking of, and I'm toggling between sharing my screen, I don't know if I should use the one that comes to the top of my head. Where is she? So these ones, they're limited in scope. They're only from 1903 to 1929. They're Maricopa County land ownership maps, but you can, I've arranged them by year, so that way you kind of know what you're looking at. And then basically you can click in here. You do have to sort of know broadly where it is. So it's just because of the way the maps themselves organize information, you have to be familiar with the public land survey system. So township range, if you know the section, that'll help, but you can come in here. And then, yeah, you can, one of the tools you can do is to scroll in. If you need to really scroll in, you can do a zoom to 100%. But yeah, basically, so these are some land ownership. So if you know where you're at, you can find out, oh, okay, let's pretend this is the parcel that you wanted. Awesome, C.G. Jones, you know, owned this land. It was on, you know, in 1917. And then you can just do the other years and, you know, find basically the same township and range, look for the same, same plat, same parcel. And, yeah, and just basically compare and see like, okay, you know, how long did he have it and that sort of stuff. The art, so this came from the Arizona State Archives. They have more that are not online. So that's always the thing too. Keep in the back of your head that if like sometimes what you'll see on the memory project is just a sample of what's available. And sometimes it's just a matter of volume. You know, if there's tens of thousands of a certain kind of map, then what got scanned could have just been a representative sample to get something up and to alert you that, oh, yes, here's what we can make available right now. But also we have more in physical form. And we try to put that in metadata when we know. So that way there's some indication that what you see online is not all that we have. So that's a good question. A little over time. If anyone else has any last second questions, we can stay on for a bit. But if not, thanks everyone for coming. Brandy shared, I believe, yeah, there's the survey link up there. If everyone would please click on that, let us know. It also has questions about, you know, do you like the 30-minute format? Do you want more time, less time, stuff like that. So it helps us plan for the 2024 sessions, and hopefully there's space in there for you to tell us what you'd like to see for 2024. And if not, you can email us, let us know, and we will do our best to help everyone do the research that they want to do. So thanks so much, everyone. We will hopefully see you in a future session. Take care.